我被老板裁了。昨天老板跟我说
Yesterday, my boss told me that I no longer need to come to work. He said he recently interviewed many younger, more beautiful, and lower-paid girls than me. He told me that hiring me wasn't cost-effective and that my salary was too high. He even said, for this job, I can easily find someone who can do it for a few thousand yuan. Why would I still pay 20,000 yuan to hire you? And I'm only 32. I can understand the pressure my boss is facing. He's now renting out a shop on the second floor, and the rent is a big burden. In fact, I know that many of the teachers and assistants in the training center are paid very low, and some of the teachers don't even get paid for their teaching hours. In the current difficult economic environment, his approach seems to be cutting costs and improving efficiency. He wants to reduce labor costs to get through the tough times, so he decided to lay me off. Last night, when I heard that my boss told me I didn't need to come to work next week, I felt really sad. Then I saw a girl post a part-time job ad on a recruitment website, asking for people to bring their bank cards. I felt this might be a scam, so I asked her, "This part-time job, is it a scam?" Instead of answering, she started attacking me, saying, "I saw your photos on your moments. You're old and ugly now. Even if you rely on men for money, you won't make much. Unlike me, I'm only 20, and many men are willing to give me money. They transfer 30,000 or 40,000 yuan at a time. What about you? No one would even want you, and you're probably losing money on them." Hearing this, I was really angry and couldn't help but retort, "You won't live past 30. But afterward, I felt really upset. Her words were too harsh, calling me old and ugly, saying no one loves me and that I'm poor. Last night, I couldn't sleep because I realized that even though I had retorted, I still felt powerless. She really is just 20, and she still has a lot of opportunities and hopes. But I'm already 32, still single. I feel like in both the job market and the marriage market, my value has become very low. I always feel like I'm going to be replaced by someone younger and more beautiful than me. What's worse, I feel like every word she said hit me right where it hurts. I've started to feel like there's no hope in life, no future. I really regret not having taken the civil service exam between 20 and 30, and not having found a good man to marry. Now I feel like I'm just passive, like a fish on a chopping board, being scrutinized and replaced at any moment. I feel especially miserable, like I have nothing, and the future seems so bleak.
我今天突然发现一个问题，女人真的什么年纪都不好找工作。
It suddenly occurred to me today that it's really difficult for women to find jobs at various stages of life. When women just graduate, at the age of 23 or 24, they are considered to have no work experience. But when they reach 26 or 27, people start to worry that they might be at the age when they are planning to get married, and that could affect their work. Then, when they are around 28 or 29, many start to wonder if they are planning to have children, which might also affect their job. By the time they are 30 or 31, bosses start to question whether they are preparing for a second child. When women are 32 or 33, they find it hard to get a job because employers are concerned about whether they can balance family and career. Once women are over 35, society starts to dismiss them, claiming they are too old to work. However, the legal retirement age in the country is 55. This means that many women, after reaching 35, still have to work for at least 20 more years, if not longer. How will they support themselves for these 20 years? Because of these societal biases and work-related difficulties, many women who originally had good conditions are forced to switch careers. They end up working as ride-hailing drivers, food delivery couriers, or even learning skills like nail art to make ends meet. To face these unfair situations, we truly need the Women's Federation to stand up and speak out for women, providing us with more care and support.
作为女生来说，我们的职场的黄金期是很短暂的。
Actually, for women, our career golden period is really very short. Do you know? Even if I can enter a foreign company, my manager once pointed at one of the resumes during an interview and said, "This person is already 25 or 26 years old. She's too old." I was really shocked and couldn't help but tell him, "I'm only 25. He replied, "You entered through campus recruitment as a management trainee. You are different from others." That was when I realized how strict the societal expectations and time limits for women's careers are, not only in our country, but even globally. The overall environment is intensifying this pressure. As a woman, we have to accomplish a series of tasks within our golden years, completing our studies, career, marriage, family, and childbirth. Each step must be very carefully planned. If you choose to get married right after graduation, you might spend at least 2 or 3 years focusing on your family, unable to dedicate time to your career. In the workplace, once you've just stabilized yourself and reached a good position, at a certain point, you face pressure about whether you should be doing other things. This pressure comes not only from the work itself, but also from other aspects of family life. This situation forces women to make very cautious decisions at every step, and each move needs to be timed perfectly to create better opportunities for the next. Women have to deal with multiple role transitions in life, and it seems that each step must perfectly align and be planned. I often have a strong sense of crisis, fearing that once I get older, it will affect my future planning and choices.
未婚女青年，然后去年刚博士毕业。
I am now 35 years old, still an unmarried and single woman. I graduated with a PhD last year, and I have been job hunting for 3 months, but I have been rejected every time. Although I have applied for many postdoctoral positions at universities, those positions reject women over the age of 35. Many companies believe my cost-performance ratio is not high enough, considering that I am too old, and my expected salary is too high. Some companies even explicitly state that because I am single, unmarried, and have no children, they worry that I might get married or have children after joining, which could affect my work and even the company's performance. I really feel that this society has deep unfairness and discrimination against women, especially regarding age and marriage and childbearing. The discrimination women face seems particularly obvious in these areas.
今天我面试了3家公司，我真的有被刺激到了。
Let me tell you, I had interviews with 3 companies today, and I was really triggered. I have to say 40 years old is already considered old age in today's society. The HR lady said directly in front of me, "We are worried that you are too old and might not be able to work late at night. We can't hire you." At that moment, I was really about to explode. I'm only 40, how did I become old? I'm still young, so why am I being defined as old? Later, the director outside told me, he said, "If it weren't for a personal recommendation, with your age of 40 now, our company wouldn't even take a look at you, and we wouldn't even bother to interview you." After hearing that, I felt really helpless. What has happened to this society? Does 40 years old mean the end of life? Isn't 40 supposed to be the beginning of life?
10年前我1个月可以拿2万多的工资。
I just went for an interview for a job with a monthly salary of 5,000 yuan, but I was rejected directly because of my age. After I walked out the door, I actually found it kind of funny. 10 years ago, I could earn more than 20,000 yuan a month, but now, I can't even get a 5,000 yuan salary. Now, I'm already a 41-year-old middle-aged woman with a bachelor's degree, a typical post-80s person, who once worked hard from a rural area to a first-tier city. Facing reality, I feel really confused. Everyone says at 30, one stands firm. At 40, one is not confused, but when I'm 41, I'm even more confused. I don't know which direction to go. It feels like I've fallen into a dead end, and I really don't have the energy to complain. I once worked as a project manager in a well-known company leading a team. Every day, I worked overtime and had to stay late, sometimes even working 3 nights in a row without sleep. At that time, even though it was tough, I felt that I was fighting for my career, and it was worth it. Later, I got married, my health started to deteriorate, and as I had accumulated some connections, I started my own business and supported my husband's career, which is how I ended up where I am today. However, now when I decided to look for a job again, I can't even find a job that pays 5,000 yuan a month. I know the key problem is that I'm getting older, and young people are much more competitive now. I can't compete with them anymore. Right now, the job opportunities available to me are extremely limited. To be honest, if I had to interview for a janitor position, I really wouldn't be willing to accept it. But on the other hand, if we look at things from the perspective of work and career, I actually shouldn't be in such a bad situation. After all, I've worked for over 10 years and accumulated some experience. How is it possible that I can't find a suitable job? However, I know deep down that, as someone without any external support, relying entirely on myself, I really have no way out. The only thing I can do is keep getting up after each setback and bravely move forward. For those who have similar experiences to mine, I hope you can also gather the courage to keep going.
No matter how tough it is, we must encourage each other and keep pushing forward.
去年底我就是被迫失业，今年也36了。
At the end of last year, I faced the blow of unemployment, and now, at 36 years old, I've entered what people often refer to as the 35-year-old hurdle in the internet industry. At this stage, many people experience the anxiety of middle-aged unemployment. My name is Xiaotang, and I'm from Liuzhou, Guangxi. I came to Shenzhen around 2011. In the beginning, I worked as a foreign trade salesperson. However, after a while, I realized that I wasn't suited for sales, so I started thinking about switching careers. One day, a friend of mine suggested that I learn UI design. I decided to give it a try and started self-learning, creating my own designs and uploading them to design platforms. With this opportunity, I successfully made a career transition into the internet industry, and I've been working in this field for about 7 or 8 years now. Looking back on this journey, it's been filled with twists and challenges. At one point, I worked at a company that specialized in developing systems for the education and training industry. However, due to the policy of education reduction and the impact of the economic downturn, the industry suffered a severe blow, and our company's projects came to a halt, ultimately leading to the company's dissolution. Therefore, at the end of last year, I was forced to face unemployment. At that time, I felt particularly anxious. Being 36 years old, I found myself in the so-called middle-aged unemployment predicament, filled with unease about the future. As an older single woman, I was at the hurdle of 35 years old in the internet industry, and it seemed like I had no advantages. I sent out hundreds of resumes, but received very few responses. In the end, I interviewed with 3 companies and received 1 job offer. However, that period was incredibly rushed and stressful. Whether in the dating market or in the workplace, I deeply feel the unfairness of age toward women. In the matchmaking market, people focus on a woman's age for having children. In the workplace, many companies consider whether you're single, married, or have children. These factors influence your career development and promotion opportunities. In the workplace, people also worry about whether you can balance work and life, and whether you can take on heavier responsibilities. These invisible pressures directly affect my salary level. Compared to before, my income has dropped by about 30%. This made me feel really frustrated because my previous job was relatively flexible, allowing for more space to enjoy life without worrying too much about pressure. I lived more in the present. But as I've grown older, these real-life issues and pressures have become more and more apparent. Now, no company can guarantee that you will work there until retirement. For someone like me, who is already over 35 years old, career development opportunities are becoming fewer and fewer. Therefore, I need to think ahead about my future and how to maintain a source of income. About a year or 2 ago, I started trying a side business. On weekends, I would spend one day baking bread. Sometimes when I made a lot, my neighbors would ask me if I could sell some to them. After they tried it, they thought it tasted great, and many of them started to buy it again. Some even suggested, "Why don't you open a bakery? Your bread is so delicious." But I didn't take action immediately because I knew I wasn't fully prepared. I was reluctant to start without enough planning. If I failed, finding a job again at my age would be quite difficult. So, I decided to first try doing this side business at home. If it proves successful, I'll consider opening a bakery.
老板们，不开店，你还能干点啥?
Everyone says that if women of our age don't open a shop, what else can we do? Finding a job nowadays has become a game with an age limit. Women over 35 are often considered too old. We have considerable work experience and many skills, but we're still dismissed because of our age. On the other hand, if we want to retire, we're criticized for doing so too early. This is the awkward reality for women in our 40s. As people born in the 80s, although we're slowly entering middle age, we still feel we're not that old and can't quite accept this identity. It's hard to maintain a face in society. To be honest, we know we're not young anymore. When we go out to work, the salary is only a few thousand yuan, and we often have elderly parents to care for and children to raise. This stage of life is the most expensive one, and you ask, what are we supposed to do? Do any of you sisters feel the same? It really puts us in a difficult position, unable to move forward or retreat. Some people say if your shop business is bad, just stop and go back to working. This advice sounds simple, but you know life isn't that easy, right? We've thought about such a carefree life. In fact, running the shop has become the only source of income to cover our family's daily expenses. Why do so many people choose to sleep on the floor but still want to be their own boss? The truth is, we don't have a choice. The pressure of survival is real. If we stop running the shop, we might not even be able to cover basic expenses. For us, the 80s generation, we face a lot of problems and difficulties. The pressure of life makes it hard to breathe. Do any of you feel the same? What else do you think we can do if we don't open a shop? Some people say that men eventually end up working as security guards, while women can only be cleaners. Does that mean the only thing left for us to do is physical labor? But as we get older, we can't do that kind of work anymore, and slowly society starts to push us out. What did we do wrong? Why does life have to be this hard? Why are we working so hard and feeling so tired? Older women, did we offend someone? This is something we just can't accept.
The difficulties faced by women in the workplace are immense. When you first graduate and enter the workforce, companies complain that you lack experience. At 28, unmarried and childless, they worry that you will take maternity leave if you get married and have children. When you're in your early 30s and already have a child, they fear you might have a second one. At 35 and beyond, with 2 children and no plans for more, you're still rejected because of your age. You no longer have the stamina of younger workers. Even female HR staff admit that they, too, experience gender anxiety. Currently, the gender ratio in job markets has become extremely imbalanced, with some places seeing a 9-to-1 ratio of male to female applicants. Despite the fact that many women are more qualified than men, women often lose out on many job opportunities for various reasons. This is not about creating anxiety, but rather the harsh reality women have to face in the workplace. A survey shows that male job applicants have a 1.42 times higher chance of getting an interview compared to women. This is especially evident among recent graduates, where the proportion of men getting job offers and successfully signing contracts is far higher than that of women. A netizen didn't believe this result, so he decided to job hunt with his girlfriend. He found a job in just half a month, while his girlfriend sent out dozens of resumes, got few interview opportunities, and the salary offered was consistently lower than expected. There are many explanations online for this phenomenon. One point of view is that women are often beaten by even more calculating women. In many cases, the challenges faced by women in the workplace are created by their female predecessors. It must be acknowledged that the workplace system has provided women with considerable benefits, including marriage leave, maternity leave, and childbearing subsidies, which range from 3 months to half a year, most of which are paid leave. However, the problem is that many women are afraid to take advantage of these benefits because once they take leave, they may become disconnected from the company, leading to eventual unfair dismissal. However, there are indeed some women who take advantage of this situation, specifically choosing small and medium-sized enterprises, getting pregnant soon after starting work, and leaving the work to their colleagues during maternity leave. After giving birth and completing their postpartum recovery, they return to the company and then quit with ease, enjoying a few months' salary without much effort. These free riders are few, but they are enough to affect the entire work environment in a company. This situation leads employers to start avoiding hiring female employees. Ordinary women thus find it even harder to find a job, while those who take advantage of the system continue to exploit this opportunity, creating a vicious cycle. So, how can we break this cycle? What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support is very important to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thank you again for watching, and see you next time.